Last week was the 10th anniversary of Kea Sigma Delta Limited. It's been 10 years already. I wish I could say it's been a resounding success, but the reality is entrepreneurship and business isn't like that. It's been 10 hard years of failing forward. Reality is most companies don't even get to their 10th birthday. Most of them fail. It's not an easy road. So let's have a look at what I've learned. By failing forward, I mean every time I fail, I learn. And that in itself is a lesson. So let's have a look at 10 years and what I've learned from it. So the first thing I've learned is that you need to be comfortable failing publicly. When I first started, everything was hush-hush. I was very quiet. I didn't want to show anything to anybody. I was basically treating it like a school project. You know, you go off and you study hard and you do all this work and then you hand in the assignment. Well, entrepreneurship doesn't work like that. One of the biggest things is the level of uncertainty. You don't know if anybody wants what you're building, if anybody wants or needs it, and you don't know if anybody's going to pay for it. And until you don't know, as long as you don't know those things, you could be working on something, slaving away on something that nobody cares about and that nobody will ever use, which is a gigantic waste. So by hiding away, I wasn't getting any feedback. Like, is anybody interested in what I'm working on? And when it came time for me to hand in the project, so to speak, nobody was there to receive it, leaving me scrambling to try to find people to sell it to. So that's the first thing. If it scares you, realize first, at the beginning, nobody's really watching. And most people are too caught up with whatever they're doing to pay attention. You can and probably will get some nasty feedback. I've had some nasty things said to my face and said behind my back. Just goes with the territory. Reality is that the people who said that, generally their opinions are irrelevant. They don't matter, from people that I barely know and who have never tried to do anything big themselves. So criticizing others is about all they have. You'll find fellow entrepreneurs will honor your struggle, will honor your journey, because they know what it's like. Next thing, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. Read it and really take it to heart. And really try to apply it. I read it, I thought I understood it. The basic principle is, as I mentioned earlier, uncertainty is your biggest problem. So your goal is to learn and to reduce that uncertainty as quickly as possible. Find out what is it, what are the needs in the market, what do people actually need, actually want, and how can I best serve them, rather than go off and slave away and build this product and then, hey, do you want to buy it? Right? So I thought I got it, but then my pride as an engineer, I still wanted to engineer things properly, to structure things correctly so that, when the sales started rolling in, I don't have to throw things away and redo it. I have a good structure that I can build on. Reality, I worked for years on something called Relight, which was an image enhancement software. It was actually a fraction of what I was originally had in mind. Right? What I originally had in mind was like a 10-year plus research project that would have required a team to do. I spent years working on something that nobody needed and nobody wanted. And actually, okay, there were a few people who would benefit from it, but I had no way of reaching them. No way of effectively marketing to them. So yeah, really take that to heart. In today's world in particular, you need to cut down on that uncertainty. You need to be able to get something out there quickly. Next thing, focus on what you can do, not on what you can't. Now, while I was trying to build up my company, I spent a lot of time studying from people who claim to be experts in business and marketing and all those sort of things. And what it came down to, a lot of them were teaching me how to be them, right? So the extroverted marketers were trying to tell me I need to be an extroverted marketer like them, even though it's not one of my strengths. I'm not one of them. I fail miserably at being somebody else. And so I spent a lot of time feeling like the key things that I need are always something I don't have. Right? I'm smart, I'm good at engineering, I'm good at so many things, but the key thing that I need is always something I don't have, something I'm not good at. And that mindset's not going to get you anywhere. Right? It's far better you focus on what you're good at. I'm good at building software. I actually tried selling other people's products and I found I hated it. I could have succeeded with that if I had stuck with it long enough, but my heart wasn't in it. I couldn't stand it. So when I finally made that mindset shift, suddenly things started changing. I could suddenly afford to go to conferences. And it wasn't that I had more money, it was just I saw what was possible rather than what was not possible and what was missing. Now, don't get me wrong, one of the things that you need when you're developing products is to notice what things are missing, in a manner of where can you serve people? Because ultimately that's all businesses. You give a product or a service to somebody else, and you serve them in some sort of way and they pay you in return for it. And then you can go off and do the same with somebody else, pay somebody else for something that you need. So yeah, focus on what you can do. What is it that you can do? What is it that you can learn? What thing can you do today to learn a bit more, do a bit more, serve people better? Final thought, you're going to need to have a curious mix of being persistent and never giving up, and knowing when to give up something that's clearly not working. And I have to say, it still annoys me a little bit, those people who say, never, ever, ever give up. The people who are successful are the ones who keep pushing through. That's true to a certain degree. If you want to ultimately be successful, you need to keep at it. Because if you give up, then yeah, you fail. The end. But I spent years working on something that had zero chance of success. I would have been way better off now if I had noticed it's never going to work and dropped it sooner. And part of that was, the learning process of fail fast again, the lean startup. So while yes, you do need to be persistent, you need to be continually pushing. Don't just try something half-heartedly and then give up. But at the same time, if something is clearly never going to work, has no chance, then you're better off dropping it. Either modify, switch slightly to something, or in lean startup methodology, it's called the pivot. You completely change to something new. How do you know when to be persistent and when to drop something that's not working? That's a matter of experience. And you will find a lot of successful entrepreneurs have a lot of failures, years of failures under their belt or in their closets, hidden away. You see their overnight success. You don't see the 10+ years of trying and failing and trying something new and failing again and learning every time until continually failing forward until they finally have their big success. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to build your own business, I would highly recommend don't do what I do and start with this massive big project. Pick something that you think you can do in a few months. Know full well it'll probably take you more than double that. Right? So maybe half a year later you will have your first product ready out there. Do things publicly, tell other people about it, get feedback as quickly as you can, but you want to get it out there and either succeed or fail fast, learn from it, and then start on your next product or service. All right, get that learning cycle going as quickly as possible. Another entrepreneur called Rob Walling calls this his stair-step method. So you start with a small product, You know it's not going to make a lot of money, but your goal is to just successfully make something, put it out there, and get somebody to pay you money for it. That's a huge feeling, by the way, the first sale. And then you start on the next one, and you can try something a little bit bigger, right? As your experience builds up, because when you start, you have zero experience, you don't know what you're doing. You learn on the job, then you can try something bigger, and eventually you can work up to starting a company or a project that has the chance of becoming big. But if you try to go for the big one right away, chances are you're going to flop miserably and crash and burn. And that's especially if you do what I did, which is go the self-funded route. I never went out to seek funding. There are some things, if you want a big project, you need the investment money, you need their expertise, and you need to just put up with the pressure and the craziness and go, 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 or you'll miss your opportunity. But if you're like me and you want to self-funded, start small, prove something, really start small. And read the Lean Startup. I'll leave a link for that below, and go from there. So that's it for now. Oh, one more thing, just a quick thank you to the Amiga computer community. It's been the work that I do for the graphics drivers for Amiga OS 4 that has helped to keep the lights on here. So I am very appreciative of those who have bought my software and the drivers over there. You've enabled me to keep doing what I do. So thank you.